Hi everyone, this is Kathy Grosskreutz with Bookkeeping Clean and Simple, and today I want to demonstrate why you need to be very careful when using transfers in QuickBooks Online, and in some cases you probably want to avoid them altogether. Now before we jump right in here, if you haven't already, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel and share it with others, or at least turn on the notification bell so that way you'll find out when I release new content. If you're not an accountant user, we still would love to have you be a part of our channel. Even though most of my content is geared towards accountant users, we welcome anyone who wants to be a part. Now with that said, I am in the Craig's Design and Landscaping Sample Company. I'm in the bank transactions area and I have the savings tab open. And as you can see, I have two matches found to this one transaction that is still hanging out in there. Okay, so we have a transfer and we have a deposit. And so it's wanting to connect to this transfer. I'm going to go ahead and open up this transfer. I'm going to explain to you why using transfers may or may not be a bad thing and the best case use for them. So one thing that you'll notice right off the bat is that when you're transferring, or when you're using transfers rather, you're actually moving money from one balance sheet account to the other. You don't have any option of adding a payee or anything like that in a transfer. So it's just basically a lateral move of money. But let's say this $200 is actually a credit card payment. So you're not going to be able to use this for a credit card payment, even though that might be the transaction that it's really pointing to. So let's exit out of here so that way you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so it may be that neither one of these situations are correct. It may be that this money that's moving or coming from the checking is actually going to pay down this MasterCard. And there's really no way that we would know it right now because we haven't seen the $200 come in from the MasterCard at this point. It's in transit. But if you was to go ahead and indicate this was as a transfer, then it's going to be harder to fix later on. So the best way to handle this would be, instead of matching this to this transaction here, is you would go into the MasterCard and you can actually do this as plus new. You can actually enter this as pay down credit card, which we've already done. I'll show you the transaction that I have here. So we got a credit card payment for $200. And with this pay down credit card, you can see at least you can add a payee, and then it shows the account that you used to make the payment and all this. And then I'm having the memo credit card payment. Now just know that when we go back to the banking center, you're not going to see this transaction yet because it has not come through. So if you was to go in here, like I said right now, and match it to either one of these two transactions, then it won't match to the correct one. And it's going to be harder to fix. So here's the bottom line here. If you know for a fact that you're moving money from, say, checking to savings or from savings to checking, then yes, go ahead and use the transfer. Otherwise, I would go ahead and enter any payments or any charges to your credit card first and then match it to whatever comes in. So in this case, we're just going to wait. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the bank register where that $200 is sitting in here. It was dated 8/23. And it's not matched anything yet because it hasn't come through the banking center. But we're just going to be patient and wait for that transaction to come through the banking center. I'm going to go back to the bank transactions area. And so your rule of thumb right now is to just kind of hold on and wait. So that way it'll match up, because instead of showing it that there's two matches found, eventually you'll see that it'll try to match to that credit card payment. But you don't want to use a transfer in this instance, and you don't want to use a deposit in this instance, because if you do, it's going to be harder to fix. And especially with the transfer, it's going to be harder to fix later on. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Again, you can play around with these scenarios in the sample file. The only thing you won't be able to do is to download any bank transactions in there for that. But anyway, I hope this helps you today. Y'all have a wonderful day. Take care, and we will see you soon.